Please be seated for tonight's talk. Please sit facing the teacher, listen comfortably, where you can make eye contact. If you need a liturgy book, we're going to check the Gautama Buddha Sutra, and the liturgy books are in the back on the table. Gata on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this rather warm summer night. So, we finished the last case in the Mumonkan, and so we just are going to begin again at the first case. It's customary in some traditions to circle back around and do the first things again so that the text gets to stay in the world and know that it's not done being read. Isn't that lovely? So, we are on case 1, the infamous moo, right? Does a dog have Buddha nature? Moo, says Joshu. And that's the case. So there's not a lot of meat on the bones there. And that's actually a really good thing for us. Because whatever this moo is, we can't strategize our way into it. And I thought we would read the longer case that this is actually embedded in, and it might give you a sense and a flavor of what was going on in this very short case. Does a dog have Buddha nature? No. So the fuller expression of The exchange goes like this. A monk asked Jiao Joshu, does a dog have Buddha nature or not? Yes, said Jiao. Then why did it jump into that bag of fur? It knew what it was doing, and that's why it dogged. That was Jojo's reply. It knew what it was doing, and that's why it dogged. Another time, a monk asked Jiao, does a dog have Buddha nature or not? No, was the answer. And then the student replied, well, all beings have Buddha nature. Why doesn't a dog have Buddha nature? And the answer was, because it is beginning to awaken in the world of ignorance. Wow, that is interesting, right? Beginning to awaken in the world of ignorance. Guess who else is beginning to awaken in the world of ignorance? All of us, right? So this teaching about the yes and the no kind of depends on where we are in our practice. And the no, which by the way, mu translates as no, okay? We don't actually translate it as no, because it just feels funny to have everyone just walking around the world going, no, 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 no. And also no has some sort of connotation to it, obviously, right? Mu is like completely outside of most of our intellectual and conceptual ideas. And that's really for the best. Except for our Aikido teacher has a whole sort of like Shinto understanding of what mu is. And he has an interesting relationship with it. It hasn't necessarily helped him to know have a lot of conceptual baggage around mu. So this really sincere, profound question about Buddha nature. And of course, we all have Buddha nature, and we all have that awareness of our Buddha nature, really from the time we were born. It just gets covered up. And Zen practice is here for us to strip away all of the what's called adventitious dust so that we can shine brightly as the Buddhas that we are. Completely, profoundly, wildly unique Buddhas that we are, right? Each one of us a total expression of complete awakening, yet in a completely different package. So it's so hard to actually talk about mu because there are no words. I mean, mu is, you can't even say what mu is. You know, I personally worked on the first checking question for mu, so for like 10 years. It was a long time to be just working on one thing. I think I might have the record for the longest, sort of dullest Zen students going. But in that time, so much purification and so much trust in what was happening showed up. Mu actually showed me how to trust it, and how to trust my life, and how to trust regardless of what was coming at me or inside of me, that this was not separate from my Buddha nature. Right? And this is the great medicine of Mu. And interestingly enough, we're sort of working on this like the day before the 4th of July. It's all about independence, right? All about freedom, emancipation. And Mu is really here for us to free us and emancipate us from the confusion, and mostly the pain and the heartache and the habit energy patterns, the karmic habit energy patterns that are so destructive to ourselves and to the people around us. Mu is this healing balm that just cools everything down, cools it down. And it doesn't matter if we're sick or if we're well, if we understand pristinely and perfectly what's going on, or we don't have a freaking clue of what's going on. This sort of fundamental wellness of so well as in water well, of okayness, workability, kind of peaceful dwelling, capacity to sort of do what wasn't Wei Nan. Well, I forget who it was exactly. To wander into the circle of wonder, right? Mu shows us how to wander into the circle of wonder of what's arising. And you can feel, even in that Hongji, that's the name of the guy, you can feel even in that phrase, wander into the circle of wonder, that there's this sort of like peaceful spaciousness. And remember, one definition of nirvana is peace. Right? And that peace is our birthright. And Mu is here to help us realize that for ourselves. And most importantly, this realization, which is sometimes called Satori, Kensho, is not just for us. Our awakening, our practice is very much for the world, right? And we say that over and over and over again. For the sake of all beings, to bring all beings to full and complete Buddhahood, I will awaken. To bring all beings to peace, to love, I will find it myself, regardless of the circumstance that I'm in. That's the biggie. It's like you can't stack the deck. You have to stop stacking the deck, right? You just literally enters into whatever situation you're in as you, right? So I want to go through the commentary. And I have to say, this commentary is a bit husky, and I wonder if maybe we could look at it as it comes down to us, but also in a sort of less husky way, and maybe find some other gems in there. So this is Mumon's commentary on this very short case. Does a dog have Buddha nature? No. To come to Zen, you must pass through the barrier gate of the ancient masters. For wondrous Satori, you must exhaust completely the ways of ordinary mind. So really, to come to yourself, to come to your true nature. Zen has no other purpose than that. Frankly, Zen doesn't really even exist. But our true heart exists. We must pass through the barrier gate of the ancient masters. So, what would it be like if we stopped feeling like we had to crash through everything? Right? There's some aggression there, right? What if we kind of turned that around and said the barrier gate isn't coming from the side of the masters? It's actually coming from our own heart mind, right? That has tried to figure out how to live in this world with all of the car crash scenarios that are happening inside of us and around us. Right? You know, that wall that we've built around ourselves to get through the day. I think I've told this story before. One time my parents picked me up from college, and I girded myself up for my interaction with my parents, and I remember literally putting a psychic wall around myself. And it must have been so thick and so obvious that my mother turned around to me and said, "Why are you putting up such a wall?" I hadn't said a word, right? So those walls are very familiar to me as a way of protecting myself. Perhaps you know some of these walls yourself. Yes. So Mu is here not so much as the wall, as the barrier gate, but is the thing that helps us to dissolve the wall, dissolve the barrier. So for wondrous Satori, Satori is when you realize the non-dual, when you realize the one body of the Buddha, when you realize your total oneness with all that is, right? Exact opposite of having a wall. You can't realize that if you got your walls up, right? It's not going to happen. You must exhaust completely the ways of ordinary mind. So again, I mean, just even this language, it's like, I'm already exhausted. Thank you very much. I really don't want to come to the meditation hall and get even more exhausted. There's a way of working with Mu that it's actually, you put your hand into the hand of Mu, you make friends with Mu, you put it into your hara, you let everything you encounter inside and outside just be Mu without having to manipulate anything, right? There's really no need to exhaust yourself. There's more a need to get really friendly and fall in love with Mu. And when you fall in love with Mu, it actually carries you and it does all the work for you. It's quite nice, actually. And very depending on what your karmic circumstances are, Mu will work according to what you can handle, right? It will sometimes suddenly snap you out of your ordinary dualistic mind, but mostly it's more like this sort of farmer style, where it's just like Suzuki Roshi says, it's like walking in the mist, and you realize, oh, I'm getting wet. How did I get wet? Or it could be like getting older and gaining a few pounds every year. How did that happen? You know, it just happens. It's kind of like that with Mu. You know, you just allow Mu to love you, and you love Mu back, and you're friends. You're deep friends, right? And then something begins to change. Mu is showing you. Mu is showing you, what is my true nature? What in the heck is going on here? And Mu has a lot of like guardian power to it. You can really trust the guardian nature of Mu so that you can put your own guard down, right? So putting your own guard down is actually exhausting the ways of your normal way of dealing with things, isn't it? So normally this is all called the first great death, right? And it's quite dramatic. But what it is the death to our old ways, our old malfunctioning samsaric ways. And the reason why it just dissolves is that the certainty and the surety and the peace and spaciousness and the love that comes from Mu, from being so intimate with Mu, it's like a zillion times greater than any kind of wall you can put up or anything your mind or your personality or your character can figure out how to make it through the day. It's way more powerful, way, way more powerful. And, you know, this Mu, right, having a direct experience of Mu and being able to answer check-in questions about it, this is actually like the foundation of our life as a bodhisattva. To be able to live in this vast spaciousness where the things that arise are, as they arise, they're self-liberating, right? Wouldn't that be lovely? Sometimes they don't even arise because there's no need. There's no enemy anymore. There's just this Mu loving Mu, right? So those who do not pass through the ancestors' barrier gates, so those who do not let the walls of their sense of separate self come tumbling down, and do not exhaust completely the ways of the samsaric maladjusted ego, are phantoms lurking in the grasses, hiding in the trees, right? You know, when I'm at the restaurant, I always love to sort of cock my ear a little bit and just listen to the conversation that's going on at the next table. It's kind of like that, right? We're always going to feel like we're on the outside of our life. And we're always going to feel like we can't really trust this moment that's arising as Buddha. We're never going to be able to do that completely. Muman says we'll be like phantoms lurking on the grasses, hiding in the trees. So tell me, what is the ancestors' barrier gate? What is the way to let the walls down? Just this one word, mu. That is the elixir, right? So that is, sometimes I talk about it as a vial of light. That is the pill, the light, the pill of light that you swallow. And it feels really good, right? And trust me, ignorance, waking up in ignorance, the ignorance is going to fight you. I'm not going to lie, right? It's going to put up a damn good fight. But the mu is always stronger and always penetrates right through. Our job is to just trust, right? Our job is to, like, if for anything else, say nothing else has really worked, right? I'm still miserable. So I might as well at least try it. And then you have the evidence of people in the Sangha who have been practicing for a while, and you think, damn, I mean, they're pretty happy people. You know, they seem like they're really, like, I don't know, they really accept themselves, and, you know, some of them are extroverts and some of them are introverts, but, you know, there's something going on there, right? There's a sparkle, there's a radiance, there's something there. What is that? Those who pass through will not only see Jioshu intimately, but at once will also walk hand in hand with all the ancestors of the past and face them eyebrow to eyebrow. They will see with the same eye, hear with the same ear. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So those that walk this path with Mu and realize Mu are walking the same path that all of the bodhisattvas have ever walked. There is one way that the bodhisattvas go. What is this one way? That was the last koan, right? Everybody passes through this, I'm switching the metaphors, so everyone takes this vial of light called Mu, right? And this is how they enter. And because we have taken the Bodhisattva vow, because we've taken this vow to fully and completely awaken for the sake of all beings, I hate to put it to you, but it's an irrevocable vow. I'm sorry. Once you take it, you really, your heart mind can't undo it. It's like stamped. You are marked for all eternity as a bodhisattva. But let me tell you, as far as I can tell, far better to be that than something else, right? So, yes, we walk hand in hand with all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the past. You know, when you do Jukai, when you take refuge, there is a recognition that we are now all child of the Buddhas, right? Regardless of what your physical family situation was, you're all child of the Buddhas. All children of unconditional love, unconditional compassion, and clarity, with a mind and a heart that directly comprehends the clear light nature of reality, and a heart that is beating wildly open for all beings. This is something we can all get behind, no? When you have thrown away all your former wrong knowledge mistaken understanding. When you have aged and refined yourself a long, long time, understanding, let me repeat that. When you have thrown away all your former wrong knowledge, all your maladjusted samsaric ways, out the door, and the mistaken understandings, dualistic way of perceiving yourself in the world. When you have aged and refined yourself a long, long time, then naturally, inner and outer will come together as one. Again, no effort needing. Mu is showing you how inner and outer are one. Like the dumb person who has had a dream, only you will know what you have had. So this is such a profoundly intimate experience. None of us can actually verbalize exactly what is going on, because we don't actually know exactly what is going on. But there is an energetic signature, right? So that lightness of character, a little bit of the joy. I mean, Roshi is so amazing at like just doing that, and he doesn't even try because he's awakened, right? Like the dumb person, so can't speak, who has had a dream, only you will know what you have had. Suddenly you will see, heaven trembles and the earth quakes. Only you will know what you have had, but it can be verified by others who have had this experience. Okay? So that's, and not only can it be verified by others that have had this experience, teachers can help you go deeper into this experience. Because this first opening koan, the Mu, is called the Dharmakaya koan. So it's mostly dealing with the absolute, dealing with the boundless, right? Dealing with no separation. But that's only one side of the Heart Sutra, right? The emptiness side, the absolute. Absolute is form. Form is the absolute. So it's never separate from my words, my body, this, whatever, you're sitting on the cushion. So that takes a while to kind of like put that all together, right? Because how can this body that's like decaying and dying be it? How can this mind that's still got the remnants and the imprint of such anger and recklessness be it, right? It takes a while to integrate all of that into your life. It is like stealing and taking in hand General Kwan's great sword. When you meet the Buddha, you kill the Buddha. When you meet the ancestors, you kill the ancestors. On the brink of life and death, you attain utter freedom. Facing 6 realms and 4 births, you live in the samadhi of play. So, again, we've got this sort of battle metaphor going. And what's interesting, I think the most interesting thing about this is General Kwan's sword was a blue sword, okay? And whenever General Kwan would wield it, he had no enemies, right? There was no obstruction at all. And that, I think, is the point. So this is Manjushri's sword, you see up here. You're cutting and slicing through all duality, all separation, all confusion, all koans. You know how to handle the difficulties that people are presenting to you. And you especially know how to handle the difficulties that your own heart mind is presenting to you. Because you know where this place of peace is for yourself. And you know how to access it anytime, any place. This is the power that Mu has given you. Perhaps a power even greater than General Kuang's blue sword. Yes? And we're all wielding it. How then do you strive? Put all your strength and energy into Mu. If you do not waver, you will light a Dharma candle. So, all your energy and strength means all your trust, all your willingness to be friends and to merge with Mu. If you do not waver, you will light your Dharma candle, which means you will now come forth as an enlightening being. Right? And then you've got to get out there and get to work. But you know where rest is, and you know where peace is, and you know how to handle the difficulties. Not from the samsaric egoic mind, but from awakened heart mind. That makes all the difference. We'll end there tonight.
Unsurpassable, I Thank you, everybody.